Welcome to my podcast where I talk about what really shapes our health, not just our habits, but our mindset. I'm April, a health and weight loss coach who is on my own journey to lose weight, rebuild confidence, and most importantly, change the way I think about myself and my goals. Each week, I will talk about the real challenges of weight loss, the ups, the downs, the powerful roles our thoughts and approach play in transforming our bodies and our lives. Whether you're just getting started, feeling stuck, or ready to level up your results, this is your space for real talk and a reminder that change always starts from within. So take a deep breath, get comfortable, and let's get into it. So, today I'm going to talk about something that somebody wrote into me about. Lori wrote me asking me to talk about incorporating fun into our planning. And this really got me thinking. So today, I want to bring up so it's something that sounds simple, but can really feel kind of complicated for us as adults, right? Fun that's not productive, fun that's not a side hustle, or fun that is just play seems like frivolous, right? I don't have time for that. And it got me thinking about when we are children and the little ones, when they come to eat, a lot of times they might not even be interested at all because you've just interrupted whatever play they were doing, Legos or baseball or whatever it was, swimming, and they're inconvenienced to eat, right? And then they're eating, or if they come and they are hungry and they're eating, they very immediately, without thought, push the plate away when they're done and go back to the play that they were doing because they just loved it so much, right? So, what was it when you were younger that you loved to do? Like for me, I loved coloring. My mom would always make jokes that regardless of what gift I got for Christmas, I always ended up with the coloring books and the crayons. So that was a big thing for me. Was it building things, drawing? Did you like to write, running around outside, riding a bike, roller skating, any of these things, dancing? Just think back to that time about what you did like to do. And we as kids typically don't do things just because we're good at them. We just do them because they feel fun. We're having a good time. We're laughing. We're curious about it. So then we want to ask ourselves, okay, so why did we stop? Well, most likely because it wasn't practical anymore, right? We grew up, life got busy, responsibilities came in, work comes in where you have to pay bills, and the stress comes in, and things just kind of fall to the wayside because there's no time for the fun, right? So this really made me think of this big piece of play that's removed often as an adult. That play also relieves stress, right? Because you're just having a good time. You can, it's very meditative sometimes if you're a drawer or a colorer. So that's a self-regulating thing as well that we've taken away from ourselves that could lead to eating because we're not giving our body again what it may need to self-regulate in other ways. So think about current time now, like the present, who you are now. What are things that come into your mind that are interesting now to you? Is it like still dance? It could still be the same things. There's adult coloring books, and you know what? Nobody's looking. You want to buy a kid's coloring book because you used to love Shira? I used to love Shira. That's why I brought it up. But get whatever coloring book you want if you like to color. You know, grab it. Pottery classes, learning an instrument, guitar, photography, baking. There's so many things out there. Um, and if you're like baking, well, you can bake and give it away to people. I know people who do that. They just really enjoy the act of baking and the act of giving the baked goods away, and that brings them joy. So don't try to think of what the perfect answer would be, but definitely when you think about what you're interested in and the little whispers, right? Oh, I used to love to color. Oh, no, that's not, productive or whatever, try to keep those judgments of what comes to your mind to the side, because those are the little whispers of what we do want again, right? So it's it's a little nudge of like, hey, I used to like to do that, or hey, I've been curious about dancing lessons. And this is a world of so much information online. And for the good and the maybe trickier parts of it, there's so many resources on YouTube. I've been learning about watercolor and it's all been online. It's all been from YouTube. I have found some wonderful people who do free videos. I just found another new one I'm going to do. There's so many resources out there that it doesn't always have to cost money. If it's dance, there's so many dance. If it's yoga, whatever you think, I guarantee you there's somebody on YouTube doing it. And you may have to pay for something if you want to keep advancing. That's, a decision you could make for yourself. But after you pinpoint something that genuinely interests you, that again has no necessary productive thing outside of just the joy of doing it for yourself, ask yourself, if you had 1 hour for yourself with no expectations, I would, right? Don't think about what anybody might be doing. Nobody's going to watch you. There's no outcome required. There's no pressure to be good at it. That is something that watercolor specifically has really been teaching me, is how to work through and let go of my perfectionism, because even the teachers and the people who share, they tell you that like watercolor is going to do what it wants to do sometimes, and it might not be what you want it to do. So that is something, and there is a beauty in that, just letting it do what it wants to do. So think about it. Try to take this as maybe even just an exercise to do when you have 10 minutes, sit down, write it down. Think about it if you don't have time, of course, but writing it down I find also is helpful to really pinpoint what we're interested in. Um, but just think about it. And it's again, this is not about being perfect or good at it necessarily, but it's just about enjoying something for yourself that brings a little joy to you, that also will bring you outside of food. Always thinking about food, right? Again, I'm going to go back to the beginning when I talked about the kids when they're playing. Oftentimes they're inconvenienced by eating. I remember I was a big swimmer when I was a kid. And when my mom wanted me to get out of the pool for lunch, I was annoyed. I was like, I don't want to get out right now. And I wasn't hungry, because you're just so involved in what you're doing and you're just in the joy of what you're doing. So, and then again, when I would, it would be like, okay, I'm good. I'm going back in the pool or whatever. And I don't know if they still do this, but I know growing up, it was, you had to wait like 20, 30 minutes after you eat before going in the pool. Probably still a good idea, right? Digestion. But that felt like forever is my point. So think about it. And I really invite you to take time to do this, because it did get me thinking about a life outside of food, and always thinking about planning food and food prepping and movement for exercise to lose weight. And did I eat the right thing? Should I have this glass of wine? All these things that go into our day. And we're not making time just to take a moment to have a release of just joy and fun for ourselves. Again, all these other priorities come in our life. So that is so easy to let go of. But something else I'm learning too is 20 minutes of doing something like that can really bring joy and peace. And again, it helps regulate your body, your nervous system. So that's my invitation to you this week. I love that Lori wrote to me about this, and I hope this was helpful. And thank you, Lori, for writing. Such a great topic. And I really hope everybody takes a moment to think about this week. I'm going to be thinking about it more because I have the art I've gotten into, but there's other things that I used to like to do as well. And as we lose weight on our journey, we really want to start creating a life that food is not the focal point, right? So part of that is getting back in touch with, or maybe getting back, or maybe just starting to get in touch. Maybe you were a kid that really didn't play, or you had a very difficult environment and you had to grow up way too soon. That's a possibility as well. So take this time to get to know yourself now. And if you're not sure, Google a list of hobbies or a list of play activities and see what ones trigger a little flutter in your body when you see it. Like if you see writing poetry and you're like, like that would not be something you would want to look into. But if you see, hey, dancing, that's something I like to do, or singing, that's something in you is like, yeah, I love to sing. And again, even if it's just singing in your house by yourself for 5 minutes, like that, I know I do that sometimes, and that is joyful to me. That's fun to me. So if you didn't grow up with a lot of play in your life for some reason or another, now is the time to discover that about yourself. Because again, once a lot of this weight that we want to lose and we find our groove and we've hit maintenance and we have this life, we want to fill it with other things and we want to bring the joy in other ways. So again, thank you, Lori. Love this topic. Hope this was helpful and got everybody thinking. And thank you for listening. Thank you for being here. If you found this episode and topic helpful, please share it with someone that you know and would benefit. And as always, if you have questions or a topic you want me to talk about, please email me at coachapril@wakeupwilling.com. And as always, please, please always wake up willing to do something that feels good to you. Have a great week. Bye.